Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to be teaching you section 1.1 day 2, average rate of change. So the average rate of change should sound familiar. The average rate of change is the ratio change in y. We don't write out the word change with the symbol delta. It means change in y over change in x. You might want to make a side note if you think you'll forget that. This is the same as the slope of a line, and that's what should be familiar to you. This is the same as the slope of a line segment between 2 points. So the points are x1, y1, and x2, y2 over an interval. So average rate of change is the same as slope. So change in y over change in x. Hopefully you remember the formula. It's going to be y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. It's important that the y2 and x2 line up and the y1 and x1. So you can do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, or you could do y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. Okay, the interval is going to be important. So I'm going to give you an interval like this, and it's going to be from left to right, so from an x value to another x value, which we'll call x2. So I'll say from here to here, what is the average rate of change? So this is saying, quote, from x1 to x2. And that is it. So today I'm going to do an example to help you better understand. And then we'll also do an example in class. So an example will look like this. What is the average rate of change? What is the average rate of change of the function below? Over the interval -2 to 0. Okay, so that means we also need a graph. So I'm going to make a little coordinate plane. I'd like it to go up to 8, but I don't want it to take up that much space, so I'm going to make a scale of 2. So this will be 8, 6, 4, 2, 0. And then I'm just going to go down to -2. And then my x values, I'll do a scale of 1. And we'll go all the way up to 4. Okay. Right, and then we're going to make a parabola. So I'd like you to plot the points at 0, 0, -2, 4, +2, 4, and then 3, 9, should be in between, and -3, 9. And then the vertex is at 0. Try to make this curved if you can. That wasn't too bad. Okay. Just pretend that it's actually going through there. Okay. So, now that we have a graph, this is the interval, remember. So this whole thing is the interval, which means -2 is x1 and 0 is x2. So the first thing we need to do is figure out what our coordinate points are. So the first coordinate point is going to have an x value of -2, x1. I'd use a different color. So that's the x value. So at -2, what is our y value? Oh, that's 4. And then our second point has an x value of 0. And what is the y value? And in this case, 0. So now that I have my points, this is x1, y1, x2, y2, I want to find the average rate of change between here and here. So that's going to be this, as if we were to take a line and connect them. What is the slope of that line? So as far as work goes, I want to see you show your formula. So that's going to be change in y, remember, over change in x. You don't have to show this, you could substitute in right here. So y2 minus y1, which is 0 minus 4 over 0 minus -2. And 0 minus 4 is -4. And 0 minus -2 is +2. -4 divided by 2 is -2. So the average rate of change on this interval is -2. So let's do another example, and we'll use the same graph as above. And this time, let's say average rate of change over the interval and let's do 0 to 3. And we're going to use the graph above. So again, this is the interval. This is x1, and this is x2, right? So we're going from 0 to 3. What's the average rate of change? So first things first, let's come up with that first value. Well, when x is 0, we already did that. Y is 0. And then the second one is going to be the x value of 3, and that's at 9. And now we substitute it into the formula, so change in y over change in x. So 9 minus 0 divided by 3 minus 0. So we have 9/3, which reduces to 3. So the average rate of change from 0 to 3 is 3. Now you don't have to draw the lines here. As far as work goes, required work, honestly, is just this whole thing. I want to see change in y over change in x, substitute it in, final answer. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize you couldn't see. Okay, so you don't have to draw this part, but you do have to show all of this. And that's it for the average rate of change.